This video is brought to you by Skillshare.
World premiere. Please welcome to the stage, Phil Spencer.
Thank you. My fellow gamers, I am here to introduce to you the future of gaming. Say hello to the Kinect. A device which touts innovative features such as voice activation, which takes menu navigation to unprecedented levels of speed. Let's take a look. Xbox, go to Squid Hero. Xbox, go to Squid Hero. With our patented 3D camera technology, the Kinect puts your body into the game, which means that you don't need to use a controller anymore. With the Kinect, you can play the violin, play the xylophone, prep for surgery, and even dismantle a bomb like Jeremy Wren with 2 Enners. The possibilities are limitless, and I can't wait to see what our developers are going to do with this technology over the next 10 years. As we all know, the Kinect didn't really amount to anything. It sort of just quietly faded into obscurity. But I still find myself thinking about the Kinect quite a bit. This toy was a freaking joke.
You know, Kinect, it was a disaster, right? It was a train wreck.
So with the Series X just around the corner, I thought it would be fun to take a quick look back at the Xbox's dumbest idea, the Kinect. Hey, meet me at the GameStop in 3 seconds. Back in 2010, I was thoroughly excited for the Kinect. I actually purchased it on day 1 from this very GameStop that you see behind me. After that, I immediately sped home, plugged that bad boy into my Xbox, watched it check out my girl, then I moved all my furniture so that I would have barely enough room to flail around in Kinect adventures. I mean, how could I not be excited? This was a brand new way to play games, and I was 100% along for the ride. I wanted to become a Jedi. I wanted to do homework with Milo. I wanted to tear up that dance floor. I did not, however, want a tiger to lick my face.
Okay, Skittles, that's enough, please. I hate tickles.
And even though it was super gimmicky and didn't work all that well, I still enjoyed the Kinect for a little while. Maybe it was buyer's remorse, but you know, it was also something a little different. I took it to parties, I took it to Thanksgiving, and everybody had a nice little time playing with it. But after a little while, the novelty started to wear off. None of the games became anything more than little party favors. While there were a couple of standouts, most of the games were absolute trash. Unfortunately though, for the purposes of this video, I had to play some of those games. So I went ahead and bought myself a used Kinect, along with 7 games, all of which were insanely overpriced. Let's start out with Cabela's Big Game Hunter Hunting Party. When I popped Cabela's into my console, I was more than ready to shoot deer and shake that bear. But unfortunately, that just wasn't going to happen. I couldn't even get past the title screen. I have no earthly idea how to even play this game. How do I... So, do you guys understand what I'm supposed to do? Putting your hands and face inside of the rings just doesn't seem to work. So there's 30 minutes down the drain. We're off to a great start. If you guys know how to get this game to work, please let me know down in the comments, because I spent $8 on this thing and I have no idea how to even play it. But for now, how about we schneid on over to Victorious. Time to shine.
I haven't been insulted in 3 minutes.
Whoa.
That's because you didn't understand what I said.
Wow. To be honest, I wish Victorious had trapped me in the title screen. This is an embarrassment, and much like the girl on the cover, the game is so bare bones. Victorious is made up of 3 flimsy pillars of gameplay. First up, it has you mimicking gestures as they appear on the screen.
Act like you know the answer.
I know it!
Like
For its second pillar of gameplay, Victorious has you singing along to your favorite royalty-free jams. Everybody needs to know you might be crazy. Crazy! I haven't told you lately. We can... And lastly, it has you dancing along to the characters on screen, and that's about it. Now I know that Victorious isn't a game for me. It was a game that was made for 5-year-old little girls, and I'm a 19-year-old little boy. It's definitely low-hanging fruit, but keep in mind that they used to charge $60 for this piece back in the day. All right, now let's move along to our next game, Kinect Joyride. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this one. You guys know I love me a good arcade racer. And boy, does Kinect Joyride deliver. Driving has never felt so natural in a video game. To play, all you gotta do is pretend that you're holding a steering wheel with your hands, and steer with it. If you want to pull off a sick drift, all you gotta do is just lean to either side. And if you want to boost, you pull your hands back and then push them forward. But how do you accelerate, brake, and shift gears, I hear you ask? Well, you don't. The game just does all that stuff for you. And that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot going on here. Kinect Joyride was so simple that my grandma was actually able to play it. And she barely even knows how to walk. I think it goes without saying, though, that this game kinda sucks. It can be tough to keep your car in a straight line because the Kinect has trouble reading subtle hand motions. There's also a pretty significant, I guess we'll call it an input delay, since it takes about half a second for the Kinect to register your body movements and implement them into the game, which is definitely what you want when you're in a high-speed race. And to make matters worse, I had to stand 9 feet back in order for this bad boy to track me properly, which means I was stood nearly 10 feet away from my 27-inch monitor. So I could barely tell what the hell was going on, which is unfortunate because the next game on our list, Kinect Star Wars, is a visual masterpiece. Unlike everything else I've talked about in this video, Kinect Star Wars has a full-fledged campaign. You get to ride a speeder while Yoda holds on to your supple, womanly hips. You get to deflect rockets with the Force. I just flail. You just flail and the game's over. You get to helm the turrets of an intergalactic spaceship and slice up droids with a lightsaber.
Droid down.
Once 30 minutes has gone by and you're already sick of playing the campaign, there are optional game types that actually add a decent amount of value to the game. You get to destroy buildings and clap bad guys into oblivion in Rancor Rampage, which is actually kind of fun. Once that's over and done with, you can try your hand at winning a pod race. First place! Yippee! And last but not least, there's the Galactic Dance-Off, which is widely known for having some of the best song parodies of all time.
This ship beats that Boomba. S-E-B-U-L-B-A. Few times I've been around this track and like that I'm on and I'm lightning fast 'cause I ain't no hologram.
Alright, I'm gonna level with you guys here. Kinect Star Wars is not a very good game. Nothing on the Kinect is. But hey, you know what? At least there's some effort behind this title. Every Kinect game tends to have the same issue. Each one of them are so bland, devoid of depth, and after a while they all start to blend in with one another. When booting up a Kinect game, you're either going to be dancing along to something, mimicking poses, participating in an assortment of half-assed minigames, or snoozing your way through proof-of-concept demos that weren't very well thought out in the first place. But the Kinect had one last bastion of hope. Microsoft started the 8th generation off right by forcing you to buy a Kinect with the Xbox One. The two came bundled together. So, let's take a look at some of the games on this thing, huh? Xbox. Take us to the next segment. Despite having better technology, things weren't much better on the Xbox One. In fact, they were substantially worse. This is garbage. I played something called Fru, which is an interesting puzzle game with a neat concept. It has you using your body to either create platforms or remove obstacles for your character that you control with the controller. This game actually has a lot of potential, but Fru never took its gimmick anywhere interesting, and it overstays its welcome. After about 40 minutes, I was through with it. After that, I played The Perfect Woman, which was a game that left me utterly speechless. What the What's happening? You play as a uterus? What? Right now, you're looking at a $9 game where its sole mechanic has you mimicking gestures on the screen. Except the scenarios are absolutely absurd. You get to be a soccer ball sewing child worker, a teenager that everybody wants to have sex with, and a terrorist in the middle of an airport. I don't know, man. Sometimes the videos I make on this channel take me to some pretty weird places, but Perfect Woman certainly takes the cake. And to cap things off, I played a game called Fighter Within, the best fighting game of our generation. This game was trash, baby.
Ring out! You win!
They took a genre of games that requires you to read your opponents and react to them with pitch-perfect timing. Then they plugged that system into a $150 toy that takes forever to register your movements and implement them into the game. You know, they still charge 20 bucks for this game? I came into this video assuming that I'd be able to recreate some of the fun I had with the Kinect back in the day, but unfortunately, that's just never gonna happen. After playing through all these Kinect games, it's no wonder the Kinect never went anywhere. The games weren't all that great back then, and they haven't gotten any better with time. But, as awful as all the Kinect games are, I bet they still made a bunch of kids really happy. I'm a child and I love this. I'm a little baby infant and I'm in love. When the camera tracks you properly, the games are just dumb casual fun, and it's pretty easy for anybody to just step in and immediately understand how to play most of these games. Case in point, for the first time in my life, I was able to play a video game with my grandma thanks to the Kinect. So there is definitely some value there. But I can't help but feel that at the time, the Kinect had a ton of potential. I do wonder where it would be now if Microsoft had doubled down and stuck with it. Would it be a worthwhile device today? Probably not. But imagine if the third iteration of the Kinect were bundled with the Series X. Who knows what kind of crazy features it would have? Maybe it could have finally realized its potential and allowed for the Xbox to stand out from the competition even more. Or maybe it would have just delayed the inevitable. At the end of the day, the Kinect was only good for the occasional dance-off, parties, and for giving your daughter brain damage. So where did Microsoft go wrong? Well, if you ask me, they should have put more effort into creating games with more depth early on into the Kinect's life cycle. Due to the slew of childish games, the device quickly became a joke. So when they bundled launch Xbox One consoles with a Kinect, that probably drove a lot of people away. The Kinect hadn't proven itself yet, so bringing it forward into our current generation was a huge mistake, and it seriously hurt Microsoft's reputation, along with a few other marketing blunders at the time.
We didn't do it, and fortunately we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right.
Even Sony had the wherewithal to not bring the PlayStation Move into our current generation. Luckily, Phil Spencer stepped in and slowly started phasing out the Kinect altogether, which was a good decision. It nearly took them an entire generation, but with Game Pass and the Bethesda acquisition, it's looking like Xbox is finally in a pretty good place. But the Kinect wasn't a total loss. In my eyes, it sort of paved the path for virtual reality. I've always looked at VR as the spiritual successor to the Kinect. I mean, think about it. VR puts you in the game. It reads your hand movements, so it's got motion control, and with the right equipment, it can even track your whole body. And much like the Kinect, it also has Dance Central, but VR is better in every single way. It has one-to-one tracking, I can play it very comfortably in my small play space, and it's got some really fun games too. So, since I own a VR headset, I don't see myself playing with the Kinect ever again. I think it's finally time to say goodbye to this. So, we're gonna send this thing downstream. It's gonna be nice, it's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna be peaceful, and I think she'll finally be at peace. But first, we gotta thank today's sponsor, baby! Have you guys heard of Skillshare? I know I have. They share skills. For less than 10 bucks a month with an annual subscription, you can learn all sorts of stuff, like how to create a coffin from scratch so that you can give your toys a proper burial. They've got courses on dancing, so you can blow your principal away when you hop up on that stage, and it's your time to shine. Skillshare can teach you how to properly train your pets, so you can get your Kinectimals to stop licking you. As for me, I've been taking Kular Alex's guide to throat singing. Turns out anyone can do it. but at this rate, I'll be booking gigs in no time. I've actually been using Skillshare pretty frequently over the past few months to improve the quality of my videos. I genuinely think that this is a valuable service, so go check them out. Especially since the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of a premium membership for a limited time. So go click that bad boy before somebody else does. And again, big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And an even bigger thanks to all my patrons. Thanks to their support, I was able to buy a Kinect and all the games that you saw featured in this video. Consider joining them for access to behind the scenes to each and every one of my videos, outtakes, and if we hit the next stretch goal, I'm gonna be reviewing the Lego Batman game. That became an inside joke with you guys. That's something you really wanted. So yeah, that's where we're at. If you don't want to become a patron, that's fine. Follow me on Twitch. I stream there every single Tuesday, and I'd love to see you guys pop by. I don't like mice. I don't like... Oh, there it is. Yeah, I don't like critters. You see that, Sadie? Fuck off. I thought we had this taken care of. Look there. Look, Sadie, look. It's a mouse. You kill that motherfucker. All right, that does it for this video. It's time to send this puppy downstream. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, my sweet. Goodbye. We salute you.
Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No,